Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Entreaty by Rhonda Hensley, and I am Rhonda Hensley. I'm a licensed professional counselor, a life coach, entrepreneur. I talk a lot about codependency and the effects of that. And today we're going to get into, it's a favorite subject of mine to talk about, and I think it is the underlying problem in so many people's lives, and that is irrational beliefs. Limiting beliefs, cognitive distortions, maladaptive schemas. There's a lot of different names for these, but it is thinking errors that are usually programmed or conditioned from childhood or traumatic experiences where they get imprinted in our body and in our brains, and it's thinking that affects us. And I can certainly tell you that I had some negative thinking. So some of these, I'm going to go over some of these. I'm going to talk a little bit about how they work in your life and then how to overcome them. And it's some hard work to overcome negative thinking. So I think one of the biggest ones that a lot of people deal with is all or nothing. It's all or nothing, black or white, good or bad. And it's this concrete thinking that, it's either good or bad, or it's black or white. And the all or nothing, if I can't do it perfect, then I won't do it. It's either I got to go all out on this or I'm not going to do it at all. And the black and white thinking, the way I think about that is life is not black and white. It's not gray either. It's technicolor. There's many facets to life, and that it's nothing is really concrete because everything's fluid. Nature's fluid. Our lives are fluid. So it changes for certain. Something's going to change. So nothing's ever all good or all bad. Is the glass half empty, or is it half full, or is it just a friggin' glass of water? It's our thinking that makes it so. Another thinking error is we jump to conclusions. It's contempt prior to investigation. Something happens, and I just jump to the conclusion based on my past or what I think or my opinions, and it's not always true or whatever. Sometimes what things look like when you begin to back off and really look at them, they're not like what you thought they were. Another biggie is the I call it awfulizing. Oh, isn't it awful? It's so awful. It's catastrophizing. One little thing happens, and then everything's bad. This is one that I just had so much trouble with. Something bad would happen, and I would just take it all the way to the funeral. I was money would get tight, and I would end up in my mind being the bag lady on the corner with nothing. Or, I had a really bad headache, so I had a brain tumor, and this is the awfulizing. And, I hear a lot of people say, isn't it awful? Well, not everything is all awful. It goes back to black and white thinking. Also, it's all my fault. Everything's my fault. It's all my fault. It's all bad because I made a mistake. And then you get into the shoulda, coulda, woulda, and then it's like, and out of all of this negative, swirling thinking, our thinking is driving the bus. And if we're going this way with our thinking, then our behavior and our feelings and our physical beings are going to follow that. And if our thinking is negative, and then it's going to be negative. And I've learned a lot about law of attraction. And if you're throwing all of this negative thinking and self-pity from your past you're just throwing it on your future because that's what you're drawing to you. More negative. And then the negative self-talk that comes with that. I'm not good enough. I'm too old. I'm ugly. I'm fat. It becomes this huge thing of just thinking, and it drives the feelings, which makes you depressed and anxious. And if the other shoe is always going to drop, you're going to be anxious, and it's living in the future. So taking things personal. I use a little tool that's called Q-tip, and it stands for quit taking it personal. What other people do is not about me. And, or worrying about what other people think. Well, most of the time, other people aren't thinking about me. They're thinking about themselves. I'm not that important. So I want to get into why I titled this Baby Elephant Beliefs. You go to the circus and you see the elephant. It's this huge creature. They're magnificent, and they have a little rope around one of its legs, and it's tied to a stake, and it's staked in the ground. And that elephant will not go anywhere. Do you think it's strong enough to pull up that stake and, wreak havoc? Of course it is. It has all the strength ever. But what they do is when they're little babies, they tie them up to a stake, good and tight, and that baby elephant pulls and pulls and pulls and pulls and pulls, and he tries to get its leg loose, until it gets to the point to where it believes when there is a rope around its leg, it cannot go anywhere. And here are these huge grown adult elephants, and they believe that. They believe when there is a rope around one of their legs, they cannot go anywhere. They're baby elephant beliefs. That's what these irrational beliefs or limited thinking or cognitive distortions are. They're baby elephant beliefs. They're beliefs that were imprinted on us, through childhood or formative years of early adolescence or some trauma experience, and they become what we believe. And it zaps us of our strength and our, like the elephant. He believes he can't do anything. So how do we get rid of these? Well, it's a long process and it's a lot of work, but it can be done. The first thing is to become aware of your thinking. A lot of this is just programmed. It's just automatic. It just runs on default. So you have to become aware of what it is you're thinking and that it's negative. You have to ID those negative beliefs, and you don't always have to know where they come from. A lot of times you can find the origin. You can do a lot of writing about where the origin is. Sometimes that helps with the second phase, and that's acceptance. I have to accept that my thinking is distorted and that is not always the truth. What is the truth? Well, if I think it and feel it, I think it's true, and it's not always true. And I've used the tool of drawing a circle, and in the middle, I write the facts. On the outside, I write the feelings. In the middle, I write the facts. So, I feel like I'm a failure, and I can't do anything right. And I write all of those on the outside. And then in the middle of that circle, what's the facts? I have a college degree. And, say I'm too old. Well, age is just a number. And I've seen many people later in life accomplish a lot of things. That's what I did. That's the first thing I said when I started college. I was 42, and I said, oh my goodness, I'll be 50 years old when I graduate. And somebody looked at me and said, what'll you be if you don't go? It was a different concept. It was a different perspective. And that's all that changing your limiting beliefs does, is you change your perspective, and it begins to change the way you think. you have to question them. And then you have to replace them. That's the action. And that's awareness, acceptance, and then you move into action. What's the action? Well, when you're aware of them, you write them down. And then you write out the rational belief. Now, this may take somebody to help you. A mentor, life coach, counselor. YouTube is, it's a plethora of information on YouTube about all of this, of how to reprogram your thoughts. And then mirror work. You know, you take those, I am is the strongest statement that you can say about yourself. You know, I am messed up. I am a failure. I am, those are strong statements. So you change them. Change them to, I am worthy. I'm adaptable. I am strong. I am, and you replace them. The thing I like to, when I work with people, is I like to tell them that, if you're saying, my tapes were, I'm fat and I'm ugly and I can't do anything right. And if you really knew me, then you wouldn't love me. And so I had to change those. So I rewrote them. And to tape over the old tapes. I couldn't say I'm not fat. So I said I'm a healthy weight. Because the not is still negative. So I'm a healthy weight. The only thing I'm doing wrong, what was it? I can't do anything right. The only thing I'm doing wrong is thinking I can't do anything right. I don't know how I did it, but I rewrote each of those statements once I wrote them out, once I knew what they were. And take a Post-it note, put it on your mirror. I call it mirror work, and remembering that you're thinking that that's your reality, that will be a reflection of what your future is. So your thinking is real important. Whatever you think, that's what you are. And so I have to change how I think. It's not easy, but this is some of the work that needs to be done. To overcome codependency, I have to address those baby elephant beliefs. I have to know what they are. I have to reprogram them. I have to learn to think positive. And it's hard, I can do this. I can do this. If you think you can or you think you can't, you'll be right. And so it's a lot of work and it's a process, but they can be overcome. Your beliefs drive your thinking, which drives your behavior, drives your feeling. The way to change that is to take the action. And then it begins to change the actual feelings and thinking. You have to change your thinking. And then your feeling and your physical body will follow. Work on living in the present moment. And not live in the past or in the future. If you struggle with this, I encourage you to maybe get some help, because it is so detrimental to your life, your future, your health. I can't stress enough, because most of the problems that people deal with and that I work with come from negative thinking. If you like what I share, subscribe down below, hit like, share with your friends, come back. I release these every Friday, and I really appreciate you letting me know that what I'm saying and what I'm sharing is helping you today. And remember, be you on purpose.